Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino, and I'm back here to talk with a guy who just did something incredible. That he is the latest person that we've seen win in Fiji in is this season of Survivor 49 and a half? That he's
Yeah,
actually still in contention for a even bigger prize on Beast Games season 2. It's Ian Weber. Ian, how are you?
good man. How you doing?
Not as good as you, Ian.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a pretty good day.
Yeah, because Ian, in many, many years, never won any reality shows, and here you are. You won a whole freaking island.
Yeah, my man. it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. I mean, honestly, it's an out of body experience, and I'm beside myself. It's so exciting, so pumped.
So if anybody's here with us and they're a little confused, wait, what happened? So Ian was one of 200 contestants that are participating in Beast Games season 2, and all of a sudden they took 10 people. They took them to one of the islands that they shoot Survivor on in Fiji. Jeff Probst was there. They had a competition. They got 10 people, and one of them was going to win a private island worth $1.8 million. Ian outwitted, outplayed, and outlasted the competition, and then won a final tribal council vote of what, 8-0?
Yep, 8-0.
8-0, a shutout. Maybe like we should talk about Ian as playing the most flawless Survivor game ever, and is now the winner of a private island. Ian, do you own the island, or do you just like cash that in immediately?
I had the option whether I could own it or cash it out, and I thought about it. It would be nice, So the island's actually in Panama. Um,
Oh, okay. I thought it was in Fiji.
Nope. So we were in Fiji competing for an island in Panama, which I know is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy was amazing enough to fly me out to Panama. I stepped on my island. I'm walking around. He showed me around my villa, my king size bed, and my pool. And we're walking away from it, and I turn and look at him, and I say, you know what, brother? I think I'll take the $1.8 million.
Yeah, right. Now, do you sell it back to? Now, I feel weird calling him Jimmy. He's always MrBeast to me, but that's just
Yeah,
how I was brought up.
yeah. Showing a little respect, calling him Mr. Beast. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he gave me the option right away. Instead of um, uh, instead of going through the whole sale process, he could just pay me out. And I said, yeah, brother, let's do that.
Yeah. I would have so many more questions for you if you kept the island of how do you get all your food there? It would be, I don't even know how you would do it. So I
Yeah.
think you made the smart decision.
It, we fly to Panama. I'm in the car for 2 hours. I get on a boat for 3 hours. I get to my island, and this just is not going to make sense for me. Like, how am I going to get out here?
It would be difficult. It's
Yeah,
like, I guess if you wanted to like get off the grid and you had some way to sort of like Tom Hanks cast away things over there, sure. But
yeah.
in the meantime, I think that you made the smart decision. So tell me a little bit also about your background with American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, so I ran high school and college track. I was doing weightlifting. So I've been physical. One day I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching Ninja Warrior. This was in 2017, and I was like, "Bruh, I could do that.
Mhm.
Why are they falling, right?" And so I submit for it. I get on the show. That was the regular show back in 2017, and I have submitted every year since then for the regular show, but I haven't been back on the regular show. They called me for the specials. They're kind of like side quests of the family championship. I did that with my wife and my nephew. And then the couples championship, I did that with my wife, but it's not the actual show. It's a side quest, right?
Yeah.
And so, I've stayed
That's
sharp,
like what this was on
competitive.
Beast Games, the side quest.
You're right. I'm king of side quests, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, so I opened my own ninja gym, and
Oh.
I train and coach there. And that all these years since 2017, I have stayed ready to go back on Ninja and have that. I've been waiting for that chance, right? But they haven't called me. So then Beast Game season 1, I watched that. I fall in love with it. My kids love it, and so I'm like, I could submit. And the theme for season 2 was strong versus smart. Now, am I one of the 100 strongest people in the world? Well, I mean, obviously, no, I mean,
Hmm.
in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm strong, but am I that? But what I had was I know how to talk to people. I've been in a leadership position for work for 14 years. I know how to sell. I know how to build bonds and relationships. And I have been one of the biggest Survivor fans for 25 years. I watched with my 9 siblings, my parents. I can remember as a kid, sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor, watching Richard Hatch win.
Hmm.
So the opportunity to do beast games and elevate that game, add strategy, add strategic uh um you know critical thinking and alliances, and elevate that game, and then the topper is we're gonna go compete for an island and Jeff's on it. Oh my gosh, like I'm so hyped at everything beast games, everything Survivor.
Yeah, it seemed like that this was like a perfect culmination for you after you told the story about how you grew up with Survivor and how
Yeah.
meaningful it was. I'm sure Jeff was thrilled to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. When we first get off the boat and I'm right behind Sue, Sue gives him a hug, and I run up and I shake his hand. And I say, brother, you have no idea what this means. Like, my family is gonna lose it. Last night we watched it live I got family all over, right? So
Yeah.
we did a little live stream and we all watched it together at 1 in the morning. And they're hooting and hollering and crying, and just like it's a dream come true for the family. It wasn't just my dream, it's been like, our dream.
Hmm. Yeah. Now, it seemed like it came up at the final tribal council, if I'm using the right nomenclature of what to call that, but I'll go stick with the final tribal council. That there was some talk of like, okay, if you want me to leave the game, I
Yeah.
will. It didn't seem like it came to that. Would you have actually left Beast Games if they insisted to get your vote? I want to see that you're going to leave the game.
Yeah, it was actually Sue that brought it up, and she said it. She said, this is a game where there's 20 people left.
Hmm.
You just got 1.8 million. If I ask you to leave, will you leave? And I'm like, you got it. And I kind of look around, and mind you, I meant it. I
Yeah.
look around in production shaking. Like, they do not want me to quit the game right now. But I meant it, and I said, but I can help someone. I can help you get further, in the game. You guys have seen how competitive I am. You can see, you know, uh, what I bring to the table. Let me do that for you.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed the Survivor crossover episode. I felt like that it really highlighted some of the things of like, oh yeah, this is something that's interesting about Survivor, and then also I felt like that Jeff was able to like have some departures from things he typically does in Survivor, and it was interesting to see the contrast with MrBeast style and also Jeff style. So I thought that that was very fun. I also really liked that. I felt like that I got to know you in that episode better than I got to have gotten to know any of the contestants in Beast Games season 2. Is that how other people have reacted?
It is. If I listened, by the way, I listened to your recap of the first three, right? And the first three, you going from 200 people down to 25. And, the I understand Beast Games trying to get into the character building, but you got to get rid of a lot of people in order to do that. So you saw glimpses of me, right? Glimpses of me coming out of the hole first or second in Vegas, or the balance game when I'm challenging Jeremy to the beard off, or when I get the jousting stick and I throw Ethan or Mike into the water.
Hmm.
You start to get glimpses of it, and I think this is the first of now the remainder 6 more episodes where you will see character building, alliances, conversations. You'll get to know people's why, which I think is really important in a quality reality show. Why should I root for Rob? Why is Rob here? Why is Ian here? And I feel so fortunate to be able to articulate my why, because it means so much.
So when you were out there, I think that was it Jimmy or was it Jeff Probst who said like you're not even going to be allowed to go to you can't use the bathroom. This is it. You're really out here on Survivor. How long were you all out there?
All day. So we got there in the morning and we stayed there all night. Challenge 1, challenge 2, and then we waited like 5 hours, and then tribal.
Hmm. Yeah. Was there any food? Were you having the true Survivor experience?
Yes, there was food. No, it's not the true Survivor experience.
Hmm.
And
Even more than the cheeseburger that Sue ate?
Right, even more than the cheeseburger. So in between, we did get a meal. I think the reason being is we signed up for Beast
Hmm.
Games, not Survivor, and then they're trying to collaborate. And I don't think the intention was let's have the full experience, starve you guys, make you
Yeah.
pee in the woods and everything, which we did. But or the ocean aqua dump,
Awkward. I
whatever
mean,
it
if
is.
you had to go, right?
Yeah, I was willing to because I was trying to
Yeah.
win. So, but I think we can both agree when it was first announced that I could see it on the internet, first announced Survivor and Beast Games, and the true Survivor fans are losing it. No way, this is not authentic. This is terrible.
Yeah.
But I think we can both agree that they did it justice.
Yes, Ian, if I may respond to that, I don't think that anybody was upset at all to see Survivor show. I mean, maybe there were Beast Games purists that were like, hey, I'm a OG Beast Games fan. I like the old
Sure.
school Beast Games. I don't like this new era Beast Games that has Jeff Probst and Survivor. So not one person that I have seen in this space has had any issue with Survivor. People, I think people thought it was cool that Beast Games came to Survivor.
Oh,
I
sweet.
think if there were any complaints, people were complaining like, why did they bring Beast Games into Survivor 50?
Oh, maybe I'm misunderstanding,
But
and
you're
that's what I
good. You're
was.
you're
Yeah,
Gucci, Ian.
yeah, my man.
This is probably the most popular episode of Beast Games.
I think so. I think so, and I think that it's so unexpected when you think about Survivor. Have they ever done anything like this? Have they ever
No,
collaborated with anybody? Right.
no.
That's so when I'm pulling up on the boat, it's the furthest thing from my mind. There is no way that Jeff is going to be on that island. There's no way that I'm going to do a Survivor challenge. No
Yeah,
way. And then to have it happen, I was beside myself.
yeah. Now, you were with Sue Smeo, and it's just like, what are the chances that you have a person who was on Survivor? Well, I guess there was a bunch of people that were on Survivor and Beast Games, but you have
Yeah.
Sue who did Survivor, who's there. Is she saying like, this is very familiar. This is just like where they took us when I went on Survivor.
No, it's interesting. I recognize Sue in the airport. When we get there, I turn and I look. I'm like, oh, that's Sue,
Yes.
and it kind of became. She's like the third person I saw that was going to be competing. And so I was kind of giddy inside, and I actually texted my wife. I'm like, oh my gosh, Sue's here. Before they took our phones. But Sue was. How do I phrase it? She knows people know her. She's very gracious.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to take the limelight. She's not trying to take anything from anyone's experience. She's very authentic. We actually played board games in the city together, and it was like one of the coolest experiences. And I told her, I'm like, if my siblings knew right now in B City, I'm playing with Sue, I'm playing Carcassonne, this board game, they would lose it, And so she was awesome. And so I think when we were going out there, we're going to Fiji. We think it just so happened to be, they're shooting Survivor 50 at the same time. Sue and I kind of knew that and kind of like, oh, they're filming right now. And production's like, okay, whatever. Like production, we weren't trying to like ruffle feathers of like, hey, guess what's happening with Survivor, because we're on Beast Games. And then we're on the boat. And I think same thing. She wasn't trying to be like, hey, this is just like Survivor. Hey, this is, and almost like pull attention to her or anything, because, she mentioned it. She's like, after the fact, she's like, it was familiar, but I didn't want to make it seem like Beast Games was copying or doing anything like that. So
yeah. So when you were then on the Survivor Island with Sue, did she have like a lot of insight I saw like where she's one of the captains and she's helping to pick out the teams, but did she have any other advice for you?
not for me, but I knew because I was the team captain as well. So I knew that she did on her side. When they asked for team captains, I stepped forward and I wanted my destiny to be in my hands. I wanted to soak up this opportunity. I am a natural born leader. This was my chance, and Sue does as well. And I was like, man, I would love to compete, with Sue, but I would love to compete against Sue as well,
Yeah.
And so she used her expertise on her side, and I used my expertise on my side, and just barely edged him out in that relay race.
So let's talk about the final tribal council with you against JC. Were you feeling pretty good? Did you feel like that you had it?
I
Because
felt pretty
you know
good,
what, I was feeling pretty good for you.
my man. I was
I
feeling
was
pretty
like, I
good.
don't know if JC's got it.
In between the challenge, I'm holding on, and then tribal council. So it's like 5 hours, and there was some hut there on the island. I literally sat on the steps up to the hut for 5 hours by myself. It was hard ice. And Survivor, when they do hard ice, I mean, you can't talk to people. It was hard ice. So
Hard ice.
I had a lot of time in my thoughts. I had time to think about what I was going to say, and um, I wanted to talk about my resume. I had done very well in all the challenges. Everyone had seen that and known that, and then I wanted to be able to be authentic, let them know my story on why I'm here. Before that, I had never once talked financially, like that. Hey, I need to win this. That I don't have that much money in my bank account. That it's a risk to be here. This is my opportunity to be authentic and let them in, to why I was there. And
Yeah.
so I think being able to go first, I asked, I want to go first, and be able to say that before JC. After that, I felt pretty confident.
Yeah. So then, Ian, did you feel like that your Survivor watching experience helped you? Because I think that was a pretty good final tribal council performance that you had.
Yeah, I do. And I had mentioned it before, but I visualize, before a ninja competition. I have seen Survivor, all 49 tribal councils, plus, you're talking Australia and all these other tribal councils. Like, so I know what a good tribal council is. I know what a good pitch is. And, in my mind, it's what's your resume? What's your why? And, based off of those two aspects of it, majority of people lean towards, hey, well, he has a better why, and he did do really well. He took out so and so, or he was a challenge beast, or whatever it is. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you say about how you visualize the success before it happens. How do you visualize for something like Beast Games, where so much of it is just you can't predict what it's going to be?
That's true. You can't predict, but that's similar to Ninja Warrior. When I'm competing on Ninja Warrior, I have no idea what the course is going to be. So I've got to be prepared for every obstacle before I get to it. And so there was a lot of visualizing in Beast City. There was a lot of opportunities for me to be alone in my thoughts, be able to think out strategies, think out different scenarios that could happen, be able to have intentional conversations. When I was in B City, I'd sit down, I'd be having lunch with, people, and then I'd be like, all right, cool. I'm done with lunch and I'm going to go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. And then when I come back, I'm going in, I'm sitting with somebody else. So then now I'm trying to connect and build relationships with other people and talk scenarios with other people. And then, all right, hey, I'm going to go get, a Feastable candy bar. And I get up and I walk across, I get the Feastable, and then I'm sitting in a different spot. And so I'm just trying to have as many genuine conversations. And I'm not trying to trick. I'm not trying to be anyone other than me. So that people know, especially when, in Beast Games, you can take bribes and things like that. I didn't want anyone to take a bribe that would take me out. And so I figured if you knew who I was and you were up on that tower and you were looking down and, hey, I have an opportunity for $1 million, like Ty did. Ty could have taken me out. But he looked down and he could see me and knew I was there for my wife and kids. There's strategy behind that, as well as very genuine conversations.
Can you talk a little bit about, now you have made this arrangement with the players, and obviously we don't want to know what goes on past this, but hey,
Yeah.
I will, if you need a favor from me, if you want me to, help you, I will help advance your game potentially at the cost of my own, because there's, I believe, the most famous moment in the history of Survivor, at least from a gameplay perspective, comes from an island also in Panama, when Boston Rob got a favor from Lex and said, hey, Lex, if you take care of her, I'll take care of you. If you can, if you can. And then
If you
later
can.
on,
Yeah.
Lex wanted to say, like, hey, friend of friend, like about that deal, I saved Amber. And Boston Rob said, hey, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. To cash in that favor. Yeah. Beast Games is interesting because it is the final tribal council for a $1.8 million prize pot, but everyone still gets to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting, the dynamic of the the jury. They're not out of the game yet. What can we get out of this situation? So if we scratch your back, are you actually going to scratch our back? And Sue says, Ian, will you eliminate right now? Because then that brings us down, one less person I got to worry about, and a very strong competitor I don't got to worry about. And so I said, yeah, I do it right now. Production's a little nervous at that point, but she says, okay, cool. Well, we'll see if we cash that in. And time will tell. We still have, 7 episodes, 6 more glorious episodes to.
You would know better
Beast
than
Games.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Ethan dropped off of Get a Grip for $50,000?
Oh, yeah. I've been asked about this one a lot. If you think about Beast Games is still evolving. It's still very young. It's a baby of a show. It's in its infant stage. It's going to be going on for years. And I came into this game and quickly realized that I could utilize my survivor knowledge, my relationship building, my alliance building. And so I had opportunities to make deposits into Ethan through conversations, and hoping that in the future, if there's a withdrawal, that it would or that I could do that. And so, it comes down to the 3 of us, JC, Ethan, and myself. And I was falling. I was seconds away from falling. It's a very tough challenge.
Yeah.
I'm 210 pounds and I'm on my big toes, and I got sand all in my arms.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy, so I sweat. And so trying to hold on,
Long
and it's
and
like
lean is how
sandpaper.
the guys win that challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not Ozzy. I'm not Ty. You know what I mean? Like,
Tyson,
it's just,
yeah.
So, I love Tyson. So I know that I'm dropping. Jimmy, he wheels out that 50K, and JC says, "Hey, Ethan, take it." And I turn and I echo JC, Ethan, my guy, 50 grand. And mind you, Ethan, he's a young college kid.
Yeah.
He has his whole life ahead of him, single guy. I'm married, 3 kids. And so I pushed that button, Ethan, like in final tribal council, we have families. Like, you won't beat us. We have families, and he thinks about it. 50K, Jimmy's counting down, 3, 2, 1, and okay, 50K, let's take it. And I tell you, I was seconds away from dropping.
Because I feel like that we saw the jury was not loving. Well, they loved you, but it seemed like that they didn't necessarily love JC. Do you think that Ethan would beat JC in front of that jury?
100%.
Yeah, I think
if he would have held on, 10 more seconds, not taking that bribe, he would have a $1.8 million island if it was him against JC.
Yep. Did you connect with any of the other Survivor players, being a big Survivor fan, when you were in B City?
Oh, man.
Like the great Jesse Lopez.
Yes. Yeah. Jesse's great. We didn't get to talk too much. It's interesting. I was trying to talk to as many people as I can, and I recognized him, but I wasn't trying to like fanboy or be like all in his face about it. So we'd had some conversations. We built up at one point we built up little teams of 10, and I talked to him about his team of 10. I recognized Sammy in Vegas right away. And I recognized, it was so funny because I recognized him, but I'm like, it's on the tip of my tongue. And mind you, he lives here in Provo. He's literally like 20 minutes away from me. And so we're getting in the elevator, and I'm like, Sammy, like, what are you from, bro? Like, I know you. And he turns to me, he goes, Love Island. Or no, he says Naked and Afraid. He goes, Naked and Afraid. And I'm like, bro, shut up. What? And he goes, No, Survivor. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it just slipped, but Sydney was there, an absolute challenge beast. You got Noelle. And I talked to Noelle before the first challenge, and we were strategizing. There it is. Because I'm a Ninja Warrior. She's like, how should I go down? Should I take my leg off? Should I keep it? And, we're talking through that. And then, of course, Sue, I loved talking to her. Like, I talked to her so much in the city, just small talk about our families and her company, and, she's
a pilot. If you kept that island, that would have been a good person to keep on hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Get you back there. There and back, no problem.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal experience competing against survivors.
Okay, now Ian, did Jeff or anybody from Survivor say like, "Hey, why don't you like Jeff is always like, "Hey, you got what it takes, apply to be on Survivor."
Yeah, it's ironic you say that. So we're on the table, or I'm doing the table, and the ball's going, and he says something along the lines of like, "That's about the fastest I've ever seen anyone do it," or something like that. And I was like, "Well, did you watch my video, Jeff? Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, like I've
And
been
he's like,
applying.
yeah, well listen, we get a lot of videos.
Yeah. And so, I kind of poked him a little bit at that. I was like, well, I could have been on Survivor, and again, I'm a competitor, and I think he saw that, recognized that. And, Jeff speaks to you like he's known you for years, and yeah. So anyways, I told him I applied. I've applied, within the last year. So they have my application and my video. We'll see, what happens.
Mm-hmm. Was there any Survivor challenge you feel like that was your challenge that you would have aced that you didn't see while you were there?
Let me think about that for a second. I'm great at balance.
Mm-hmm.
Great at balance. So any of those, like the docks with the balance, beam in between, I would have crushed.
Yeah.
Shooting challenges, I'm super confident in. But again, this one, I could have thrown the coconuts, but I got Nick, a wrestling superstar that plays basketball all the time. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
let's be strategic. This is your aspect, or your challenge.
Ian, there's so much that's going on in Beast Games with all the different players. Was there anything that you did that the show didn't get a chance to show us that you think would have been cool for us to see?
We had a talent show, which was pretty cool. I didn't do any talents, but it was very, the caliber of challenger there, 100 of the strongest, 100 of the smartest. There was a lot of talent. So that was phenomenal to see. We actually had so we had different bunks, right? You had a smart boy bunk, a smart girl bunk, a strong girl bunk, a strong boy bunk. And we had someone from the smart boy bunk come over and start sleeping in our bunk. He felt more at home with the strong guys. This little 110-pound soaking wet gentleman named Rahel. We actually ended up.
In case he had nightmares, the strong guys were there to fight the monsters.
Something we actually ended up. Let me think of the word. Initiating him into the strong team. Yeah. We had a whole ceremony. He lifted weights. We like walked him down the path. We had him do some different chants, that you do when lifting weights, lightweight. Yeah, buddy. Like we had him saying all this stuff. So that was phenomenal. I wish it made it in.
Yeah. And then I have to say, becoming a big fan of Jeff from season 1 in that, he's like the Boston Rob of Beast Games. Like, how is this guy still here? How is he in the mix to win the private island? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it feels like that it would be so hard to come out of 2,000 people last time and then to be one of the last, 21 people that are in this game. It's crazy.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because you and I think alike, and you and I are competitors. And I was amongst people that weren't in the reality show space. They maybe hadn't seen Survivor as much. And so I saw him instant threat, and I got to get him out. And also I saw him as a common enemy. So I have strong and smart, from the beginning, we're kind of head to head. This is something that we can all rally around and go towards him. And I saw a lot of similarities in his game and in mine with the relationship building that we have. And so from the jump, I'm trying to get him out. Even I think you hear it in episode 3. I'm like, we got to get out Jeff. And then we fly to Fiji, and I'm sitting next to him on that flight. And before we sit down, we sit down, happen to be by each other, and I'm like, great, I'm by Jeff. And by the end of the flight, he's like my best friend. And I knew it would happen. I knew that if I talked to him that much, that I would love the guy. There's no surprise why he's still in the game. A great individual, and competing for a great cause for his son, for Lucas, and finding a cure for what he's got going on. So, but yeah, he is the godfather. He's the OG. He is, he's the one that I want to take down because he was the king of the castle.
Yep. Okay. Ian, is there anything else you want people to know about from what we've seen so far on Beast Games and your win of the island?
I guess if when you think about Ian and you think about Ian competing on Beast Games and in Survivor, I hope you can recognize the competitive nature and you can recognize the gameplay that helped me, solidify the win for the island.
Sure. Ian, where can people keep up with everything else you're doing?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm on all the social medias. I used to DJ, and so my handles DJ iWeb, Ian Weber iWeb. So
Okay.
DJ iWeb. Yeah, YouTube. We're doing some different recap videos and things like that. And yeah, I'm on all the platforms.
Yeah. Well, Ian, congratulations on the big win, and we'll be watching to see how you do in the rest of Beast Games.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.